In a stable real estate market like we have here in the Okanagan-Shuswap right now, overpricing your home isn't just a small misstep. It's a strategy that can seriously backfire. Today I'm going to show you exactly how sellers lose money, sometimes tens and thousands of dollars, by pricing too high from day one. I'm Lisa Salt with Vernon Salt Fowler, and I'm going to walk you through this graph step by step. It's called the cost of overpricing in a stable market. The whole purpose of this is you can avoid the most common and costly mistakes we see in Vernon real estate right now, and I got to tell you, it is rampant. Here's the hard truth. Buyers decide what your home is worth, not the seller, not even the agent. Buyers decide. That's called fair market value, and it's number one on this graph. Fair market value is driven by what buyers are actually willing to pay for your home based on similar homes in Vernon and the surrounding North Okanagan-Shuswap area. Fair market value is driven by what buyers will pay for perceived worth. This is your sweet spot. Price your home here. And if you do, you tap into real demand, fast offers, definitely stronger negotiating power. So let's look at the seller's mistake. Let's move on to point 2. This is where the seller hopes a higher initial price will draw a higher offer. Let's just try it for a while. Let's just try it here, not here. I know, I see what the comparables say, but let's try it here. And this is where most sellers go wrong. When they say, let's list it high, we can always come down later. Nothing lost. Well, what they don't realize is that the market doesn't wait, and neither do buyers. So let's look at number 3. We call this the golden window. At this point, market interest is highest for new listings, and then it wanes after 2 to 4 weeks. You always hear you never get a second chance to make a first impression. That is absolutely true. Your home's honeymoon period is real. That first 14 to 21 days on the market, that is when the serious qualified buyers with the pent-up demand see your listing and are excited about it. And if your home is overpriced, those buyers, they move on to a better priced home down the street. You don't get that first impression back ever. Let's look at part 4. This is the stale listing psychology. As listings become stale, market psychology reduces the saleable price. So here's what happens. The longer your home sits on the market, the more buyers start to wonder, geez, what's wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold? Maybe we can lowball them. Your home's perceived value actually starts to drop, even if the house hasn't changed, even if the market hasn't changed. The longer it goes on the market, the more people think something's wrong with it. Now let's go to point 5 on this graph. Price reductions at this point are necessary to attract buyer attention. Eventually, the only way to revive interest is to lower the price. But now you're reacting instead of strategically pricing. At this stage, you may have to drop below market value just to get buyers through the door. Because remember, they're already thinking something's wrong with it. Okay, before we move on to point number 6, if you're finding this helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're posting new videos every single week. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, be sure to call, text, or email and just add salt. Let's go on to part 6. This is the true sale price. So let's look at it. The actual list price corresponds with the current saleable price. That's where number 6 is on this graph. Eventually, you reach a point where that new reduced price is finally in line with what buyers are willing to pay. You've dropped it maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. But by then, well, you've wasted time, you've lost negotiating power, and you've missed your strongest window. That strongest window is that 7, 14, 21 days. And even worse, now you may have to accept less than what you could have gotten if you had priced it right from the beginning. So let's look at part 7. This is the counterintuitive truth. As counterintuitive as it seems, properties initially priced above fair market value tend to sell for less than they could have if their original prices had looked more attractive to buyers. Now let that sink in. Let that really sink in. Overpricing leads to under offers. We see this over and over and over again. This truly is a seller's biggest mistake. Now, the seller's mistake might not have been that they picked the wrong price. Maybe their mistake was listening to someone who didn't show or share or know or care all the facts. Maybe it was their cousin, maybe it was their neighbor. Hopefully it wasn't their realtor. But somewhere along the line, when they should have priced it here, they priced it here. If your goal is to sell your home, and I mean sell it, not just list it, then the smartest move you can make is to price strategically, not emotionally. You have to detach yourself. When you work with us at RE/MAX Vernon Salt Fowler, we don't just guess the number. We analyze the market daily. We compare recent sales in your exact area, and then we present a pricing strategy designed to generate offers, not reduce the price after weeks on the market. We tell you the truth the first time, because the truth is pricing your home right doesn't mean leaving money on the table. It means positioning your home where the real buyers are already looking. Let's look at this infographic from RE/MAX as well. It sets this whole thing out very nicely. Overpriced equals overlooked. That's what it's called. Overpriced equals overlooked. So many times sellers think their house isn't getting showings because, well, maybe, oh, it's just so unique. Or, there hasn't been an open house yet. Or because the photo of the house isn't quite from the right angle, we need to retake the photos. Or the video was done on a crappy day. We better do it when the sun's out. Or because it's not being marketed correctly. That's the favorite. You, Mr. or Mrs. Realtor, aren't doing enough advertising. Even though you sold hundreds of listings last year with the exact same marketing plan, it must be you. Here's the reality, folks. There aren't enough buyers seeing value for your property at the price is at. Lower your price and all those excuses go away. They just disappear. Poof. Because the reality is 95% of the time, it's because your price is too high. So next time you're tempted to test the market with a high price, ask yourself, do I want to list my home? Or do I want to sell it? Right now in the Okanagan-Shuswap, our market is stable. Lucky us. How long will it last? Who knows? I know that stable, balanced markets don't last for long. It's a pendulum. It spends quite a bit of time on either end, but not that long in the middle. And right now, we're in the middle. There's a lot of inventory on the market, way more than there was back in 2021, where the prices were at their highest, and interest rates are way up from 2021. So it's costing buyers way more to buy a home now than it did then, even with list prices down. There's a lot on the market for buyers to choose from. So you have to remember as a seller, you're not competing against last year's sales, or even 6 months ago or 3 months ago. You're competing against this week's price drops. Asking a realtor what your home is worth isn't the right question. You should be asking what buyers will actually pay for it. Those are often two very different numbers. You have to decide which number you want to hear. And if you are wondering what the market is showing buyers are willing to pay in today's Okanagan-Shuswap market for your home, we're just a call, text, or email away. So here's the bottom line. Pricing your home right from day one isn't just a tactic. It's a strategy that can mean the difference between a smooth, profitable sale or months upon months of stress and disappointment. Listing your home isn't fun. So if you're not serious about selling, why bother? Honestly, you're just going to frustrate yourself. Testing the market at a higher price that's way above market value simply doesn't work. If you're serious about selling in the Vernon or the North Okanagan and you want expert guidance backed by data and experience, we're just a call, text, or email away.